Cheers. I came with my. Can we zoom
Oh,
in?
wow.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I came prepared with the wrap drinks koozie.
Cheers.
What's up, fellas? Cheers, cheers, cheers.
All right. Chad, do you want to introduce yourself just so everybody here knows who you are?
Hello, everybody. My name is Chad Tiller. He, him, his. I work with Light Gear and KinoFlow under the banner of the Chauvet Cinema Group. I did about a 14-year study with a small company called Roscoe. You might have heard of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then in 2022, I joined the Light Gear team. And then in January, we were acquired by Chauvet, which has presented all of the exciting solutions that we have now, but also all of the speed bumps that come along with, you know, an acquisition, right?
What kind of speed bumps are you talking about?
Well, so I guess the best way to describe it is like, you know, Chauvet as a family of companies is an apartment building, right? And you've got Chauvet Professional, Chauvet DJ, and maybe those are conjoining apartments. You got Lintech and Camsys and all of the other brands. And they bought KinoFlow back in 2021. So KinoFlow had their apartment, and when they bought us in January, it wasn't like, all right, Light Gear, here's your nice, shiny new apartment. It was, no, move in with KinoFlow. So
You got the illegal basement apartment in New York?
Eric Adams personally let us in there. It was great. No, we moved in with KinoFlow, and it was a lot of like, what are we doing now that we are moving in with roommates, right? So from an outward perspective, it's really like KinoFlow and Light Gear have merged. You can see it on the shirt, right? Two iconic brands. I mean, these are brands that were founded by gaffers, right? They embraced, at the time, new, exciting technology. Frieder in the 80s with fluorescent tubes, and Bauman and Al with LEDs in the 2000 aughts. And these gaffer-founded new technology companies created products that became ubiquitous on set.
They're everywhere.
Right?
They're everywhere.
You couldn't go on a set and not see a Kino or not see a light mat, right?
Yeah.
And they also both have black, yellow, and white logos. So really, it's a marriage made in heaven.
Easy.
It's perfect. It's exactly what it ought to be.
Black and yellow.
So
Wiz
even though I'm
Khalifa.
legacy Light Gear, the past 3 months I've really been studying a lot and trying to become fluent and, well, conversational. I'll lead towards fluent in the KinoFlow product line, and it's been a lot of fun. It's allowed me to have more solutions when people come to me with a problem.
As someone in this industry, you know, with this recent changes and stuff, what have you learned that, you know, you're an expert, but what have you learned that's new and exciting?
I think the key thing I've learned is that competition right now is harder than it's ever been, right? There are a lot of companies out there that 5 years ago you could shrug off some of these guys out there that are making a product that, yeah, they're coming out of nowhere, but, you know, they're not going to really get any staying power. Guys, people who are looking at smaller upstart companies right now and thinking that they're nothing to worry about, they're going to eat your lunch. If you are complacent, if you take it for granted, you're going to lose everything you've got. You know, like I said, I worked at a legacy company, and, you know, I don't want to speak out of turn about my former employer, but they were the brand of fog in the 80s, period, the end. They won an Academy Award for their fog. They won a BSC for their fog. Like, their fog was the product line. And through some slow product development and a little bit of complacency that we owned the market, some upstart companies came along and took it from them. And I don't want to bash anybody. I think that's just sort of the historical purview. And that happened long enough ago that I think most people who work there would agree with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, you just, like, a company gets stagnant because if they're the best and they're known as the best, why change it?
You know, and there are companies that we can all think about that are premium brands that invented something revolutionary, who were the best of the best at what they do. And if you are just resting on your laurels and resting on your brand, you're going to get leapfrogged in this day and age. And I think that, you know, the nice thing about this merger between Light Gear and KinoFlow is it gives us more resources, right? Human resources, product resources, a wider portfolio, customer portfolio. Like Light Gear really never got into the broadcast space. Kino was super comfortable there. So now I have access to those markets. More engineers, more marketing people, like more human resources. Yeah, also maybe deeper pockets, but it's really about the resources and the breadth of portfolio that it brings that gives us opportunities that we never had before.
So there's an Aurorus above us, which is light gear, and
That's beautiful.
And we've got two Mimics, which are Kino, correct?
That's right.
Can you tell us about these products and
Sure.
why they work with an LED wall?
So I think the key thing about what you're seeing around us is all of it was devised by people who work in the field, right? Number one, first and foremost, we are for us, by us. We're FUBU of lighting. Sure. I can say that, right? I can say that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
You
cool.
are the
Jersey.
Go with the Constitution. You are for the people, by the people.
Thank you.
That's-
Very good. Yeah, we are a government of the people. By the, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to align with that.
maybe you don't want to do
at
that
this
either.
point. I don't know. But for real, I think that people were recognizing that the light tile product, which is another flexible product that's a legacy product from Light Gear, we made a bicolor light tile, and that product people were using ganged together into large arrays. Right? So it's a 2 foot by 4 foot or a 2 foot by 8 foot, but people were putting 8, 10, 12 of them together, making a wall of light, throwing it up on a condor and having this massive overhead array.
It became
right?
the new sky outside windows on sets.
Absolutely.
That was everywhere.
So that how people were using that led to the development of the Aurorus. The Aurorus was a completely new conceived product where you had light matte spectrum. You had light tile, which was bicolor. And as they were talking about what's next, the Aurorus kind of came out of those conversations. You got a 5 foot by 10 foot or a 10 foot by 10 foot, but they're designed to easily tile together to make massive overheads. So I know there's a gaffer named Sparky Lynch. Shout out to Sparky. Sparky Lynch.
That's his name.
Yeah, Ryan Sparky Lynch. Sparky's the man, and he uses quite consistently an array of 3 by 2, so 6 10 foot by 10 foot Aurorus, making a 20 by 30 overhead.
Wow.
Throws it up on a condor and lights an entire backyard at like 8%, and throws just a ton of light for moonlight looks, and that's his favorite go-to. So this concept of easy to rig, slim profile, lightweight, excellent quality of light, that's where the Aurorus came from. It's perfectly matched to the light matte spectrum. It's a great array of colors, and so it became sort of great. So in a virtual production space, if you've got a ceiling of video tiles that are RGB, you're going to get mediocre color rendition on your talent, right? So having a light that has punch and output and has excellent color rendition means you've got a fixture that actually can do all of that emulation. Maybe it's not the same resolution as your wall tiles, but it's going to be better CRI. It's always going to be off camera, and you're going to be able to get pixelized emulation of the image-based lighting.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is something, mergers and acquisitions, I always feel like they are going to avoid.
I feel like I should lean back for
Okay,
this one.
so the reason that I loved Light Gear when Light Gear first came out was it felt like very DIY friendly. Like I'm
Sure.
a very DIY friendly
Sure.
person. That's not going to go away, right?
No, I mean, the nice thing about the light tile, and the light tile spectrum is our newest product. Since the acquisition, we've launched another type of light tile. The nice thing about the light tile, or about light ribbon, or even in some instances the Aurorus, is it's a fixtureless fixture. It's not quite finished. It's not done until you do something with it, And I think that's the special sauce, is that it allows the artists and the technicians and the creators to be creative. It's just a tool. It's a backbone. It's a platform for which you can apply your creativity. And the Aurorus is like that in that, the pixelization doesn't really do anything until you hook it up to it's got streaming ACN straight in. So you can send it straight from your server. The same signal that's driving your wall can go to that. Now on the Mimics, because you did ask about that and I don't want to ignore them, the Mimics are that high resolution pixel mapping, right? Again, Kino Flow quality color rendering, right? So phenomenal color rendition. It is I think it's a 5-channel, so RGB AW. I might be wrong. I might not have an A. It might just be 4-channel. But the fact of the matter is the output on that gives you better color rendition than that tile ever will. It's lighter weight. The pixel pitch is a little wider, but that's because it's not designed to be a wall. It's not trying to be a LED wall. It's trying to be a light that gives you that really high resolution pixel mapping. So when we do image-based lighting, you get that very realistic representation. So again, different ways to skin a similar cat, but the fact of the matter is, it looks really great when the wall is black. Different ways to skin the cat, but I think in the long run, you know, there are no two image-based lighting scenarios that are alike. And having multiple solutions and having multiple, what Ben and Matt do is they're helping their consultants to help the artists get what they need. They know when to bring in an Auroras 5 as a wild wall. They know when to bring in Mimics as a wild wall. I don't necessarily know that, but that's where you rely on those specialists and those consultants to bring that along.
To that point, actually, I'm wondering, because you're an excellent salesperson. Like, you're giving us all the information about like why these products would be so good on set. Do you have any background as someone as like a crew person on set, or do you just have a background as a salesperson?
I'm a washed-up actor and a salesman, man.
Okay.
Let's be very clear.
Which is totally fine.
My degree is in performance, but I fell in love with. I realized very early in my adulthood, I'm talking like 25, 26 years old, I realized that I love helping people solve problems, right? I was working at a theatrical supply house in Dallas, Texas. Shout out to Norcostco. Northwestern Costume Company, Norcostco. They've been around since the 1880s. It's an awesome theatrical supply house, wigs and makeup division, costume rental. That's where I cut my teeth and learned a lot about being a salesman. And I had this really incredible supervisor in Dallas, a guy named Paul Callahan, who we lost a long time ago, but he's still very dear and close to my heart. And Paul told me, you never buffalo a customer. I had no idea what that meant. But basically he said, if somebody calls and asks you a question and you don't know the answer, just tell them I don't know. And then in the conversation, find out the answer, call them back and say, here's what I found out. He said, if you lie to somebody, you're going to lose them forever. But if you tell them I don't know and you solve their problem by going and getting that answer, you've won a customer for life, right? And that's what I've always hung my hat on, is I don't know a lot of things, but I know how to find out and I know how to help people get solutions.
So how many times have you said, I don't know, when you do know the answer? So then when you come back, you look like a hero.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I do know it, I also like to, I like to flex when I can.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
You know?
So how do you use that when, like, do you have the opportunity to ever go on sets and learn how these products are being used?
Sure,
And
I think, one of the tenets of sales that has been ingrained in me, and it was absolutely part of the DNA at Roscoe, was face-to-face, belly-to-belly, right? You can do a lot in this day and age over the phone, over direct messaging on Instagram, Lightgear Chad, at Lightgear Chad on Instagram. Hit me up. Eventually, I'll have to change that, right? Eventually,
Chauvet chat.
Chauvet Shad.
the leading answer is Kite Fleer Chad. Think about it, maybe? No, probably not. I have no clue. So Lightgear Chad is my handle. People hit me up on the DMs constantly, right? You can email me. You can call my phone. You can text me. Like, people get a hold of me in all different electronic ways. But nothing beats going on set with a product in my hand, talking to the electricians while they're in between setups or while they're on lunch, or when they got 2 seconds while something's rolling, whispering over in the corner and showing them why this thing we're doing is really cool, right? And I don't ever expect to walk out of there with a purchase order, I expect to walk out of there with one more electrician knowing how to use my stuff when it shows up on set, or understanding why the Gen 2 Spectrum dimmers are vast improvements over the Generation 1 Spectrum dimmers, right? Like, there's so many reasons why we think what we do is cool, but it doesn't matter if we're in an echo chamber about it. It's getting out in the field, showing to people. So I've got a lot of relationships with gaffers who are kind enough to invite me out to see what they're doing.
Do you ever see people using your stuff in unconventional ways on set that you learn from?
Now, I only see that on the Shitty Rigs Instagram
Yeah, I'm
feed.
curious what
to
John's
be very
talking
clear.
about.
I'll show you some more pictures after we get off this stage.
Yeah, no, I got to say, most of the projects that I mean, the nice thing about the light mat is it's pretty dynamic in what it does. So I have seen it as sort of general illumination tiles in a ceiling. I've seen it on a stand. I've seen it as a close-up right out of the camera frame. Like, I've seen it lighting spaces, and I've seen it lighting faces. TM. And I think that is absolutely like the nimbleness I was talking about our products earlier. It's not done until you do something with it. Means that there is no conventional way to use it. I guess just sort of simple on a stand. But seeing people run along with it instead of with a paper lantern is pretty rad, right? Like that's kind of cool to be like, that's mine. Or when I'm watching a TV show and they're interviewing the president, and you know that no news organization is going to use a light mat, but on a TV show, they use a light mat to light the president all the time. So like I'll watch that. I've seen light mats on Homeland, on Paradise. I'm like, that's a light mat. Nobody ever uses it like that. So maybe that's the unconventional way. Is we're the Astra of television programming. So thanks for the beer, guys. Nice chat.
Thank you for joining us.
Come back anytime.
Always good to hang with you all. Guys, thank you so much for having me. It's really nice talking with you all.